Hey guys, Animal here for another deck profile, and we are back after a pretty honestly long break. It's been like what, a week or two since my last profile, the Old Force deck, which I am still technically working on, especially now that the ban list, or not ban list but restricted list, is coming up soon. As a recording, it's only like a week and a half away, so I'm still working on it to make sure that the deck can function later on. But as you can see from the title, we're looking not at Old Force this time, but we're looking at Numemon. For those that actually that bought BT15 or looked at some of the cards, Numemon did get some new support in the form of Monzaemon X, Waru Monze, and the Numemon X, which actually makes this deck actually pretty viable. Though the deck is still missing pieces until we get BT16, when we get the Valkyremon Ace, and also the what is it? I think we get like one more piece of support. I'm not 100% sure, but the main thing we do need is the Valkyrie Ace, because once we have that, we basically are allowed to DP reduce their board multiple times alongside the Monzaemon effects. So it actually makes it so like they permanent, like most of the time you should be able to make a Valkyrie X pretty easily on their turn, especially if they try to do anything, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, no. So the deck is actually pretty good so far. You can basically do almost the exact same things. You just can't do as much DP minus at the moment, but you can do a lot of security minus at the moment. So that's actually pretty good because it helps stall out your opponent while you summon more of your Numemons and just kind of swarm the board. So yeah, it's actually pretty fun deck, honestly. I wouldn't rate it like tier one yet. It's still like tier two ish, but it has a lot of potential and can stop a lot of decks. So I feel like it has a good chance to do something at least. But yeah, let's get into the eggs. I'm actually taking the eggs from my Alter S deck. So yeah, for the eggs, we run the 4 Sunomon because you're going to be evolving a different Digimon basically most of the time. I would say about 50 to 60% of the time, you're going to be able to summon out a Numemon X and then basically just evolve it, or evolve a Numemon into a Numemon X and then into a Monze while you have another guy out, especially your rookie. So you're guaranteed to get that extra draw, which is pretty good. But yeah, no, that's why we run the 4 Sunomons. They're pretty good for this deck specifically because we just do that so often. For rookies, we of course are running 3 Chikurimon because Chikurimon is still, even to this day, really solid for the deck. You can de-digivolve your opponent if they hit it in security, and you get to choose which one. It's not the one that swings. It specifically just says one of your opponent's Digimon gets de-digivolved. So you can choose one that could potentially die more easily, or hurt them by de-digivolving their main stack. So pretty solid. Then we run 2 Chumons because there's a lot of memory gaining through Digimon, especially Lugamon and Imperial coming up. So this is really crucial. I might honestly bump this up to 3 because of that, but for now we have 2 in the current build for BT15. Then we run 2 Dorumons because almost, I would say about like 40% of this deck is mostly small guys that can be hit by this Dorumon security effects, so pretty solid. So yeah, we run at least 2. And then for the last Black Rookie, we run 1 Chikurimon because we still don't like our opponent to reduce play costs, especially with certain decks like Beelstar and Anubis still kind of around at the moment before the new restricted list hits. Once they get hit, we won't need this as much, but I still kind of play 1 just in case if my opponent does play decks like that. Like, let's say I run into Blue Flare, this will basically clutch it for me, so I like running at least 1 copy. That's all the black rookies that we run in the deck. The last rookie we run, of course, for anybody that's seen the Numemon deck in the OCG, basically, we run 4 Ukomons. Ukomon is honestly really crazy for this deck because it allows you to rookie rush while setting up your Numemons. So either you're doing the normal evolution by pushing it up and evolving into Numemon, or you're just rookie rushing with the Ukomon and then hard playing Numemons or Monzaemons to do like minus security effects and like minus deep, like small minus DP effects that can kill the rookies. So it's really crazy how that works. But yeah, Uko is a must in this deck, and once we get the one from BT16, we're gonna basically be running that one as well. I'll be most likely taking out this Doru to fit that, and maybe reducing the Chikuri down to 2. So yeah, that's all the rookies we run in the deck. For level 4s, we actually have a lot. Most of this deck is the level 4s. So of course we run the 4 dual color Numemon from Rising Wind. This guy is really cool because if they kill it, you just get to search your deck, and then its inherent basically makes it so that your Monzaemon has blocker by default, which is pretty cool. And most of the time you should be able to trigger the effect or make a Numemon X and then put the Monzaemon on top, and then that gives it blocker, and when it blocks, it dies, and then it plays back a Numemon regardless, so it's pretty solid. Then we run, of course, 4 of the new Numemon X. This guy is literally the MVP of the deck because all turns while Numemon or X antibody is in this guy's sources, it gains on deletion, play 1 Digimon card with Numemon. It doesn't specify level, so you can technically play the level 6 Platinum Numemon out if it's in your trash. So this guy is really solid. And then his inherent basically does the exact same thing. So if you hard play this, go to 0, and then evolve into a Monzaemon, you're basically guaranteed to get back a Numemon regardless. So it's really crazy how powerful this card is. Then we run 3 of the original Numemon from BT2. This guy, he's just really cool, like 3 cost. It does suck that he's only 3000 DP, but that's how Numemons are. So you just run for that, and of course the 1 cost evolution sometimes when you have to evolve in Raising. Then we run for the last level 4 is 2 Numemons from the Digipolice. This deck does use Satsuki and Yulin, mainly because my original build ran TKs, but the TK just didn't really work as well. So having Yulin to memory set and give us potentially Alliance in a test match against my friend, shout out to my friend, Steven, I actually managed to make a little guy literally a 20 I think I made a Monzaemon that was like 20,000 in attack power, or actually no, it might have been a Numemon, like it might have been like a Numemon X that had like 20,000 attack because I already had a level 6 out, and I took the level 6's DP and added it onto the Numemon, so it made him like super beefy and just like swing for like 2 checks at the same time as well. It was really crazy. But yeah, no, sometimes with the Digipolice Tamers, you can actually boost your guy higher than usual. You can make this guy like 10,000. You can make like any of these like super big. That's basically all the level 4s we run. We run about 13 of them. I know it's like slightly higher than normal, but we need to see these Numemons, especially Numemon X, because with him, we basically set up the on-deletion effects. Yeah, this deck kind of loses to bouncing, but most decks nowadays are using a lot of deletion effects, so with the deletion, you can get a lot of bonus off that. For level 5s, we only run 3 specific level 5s, and that's the 4 Monzaemons from Rising Wind. This guy's really cool. He can evolve on top of any Numemon for 3 cost specifically, thanks to his alternate Digivolution cost. And then on play, you can place a Numemon and then gain 2, so this becomes... the Numemon has to be from your trash, so that's just how it is for the on play, but it does gain you back 2 memory, so this becomes a 5 cost. So if you have a memory setter, you're basically passing them to 2, and on play you get minus 3000 DP on a Digimon, and it gains security attack -1, so you could potentially just stun them for the turn so they can't chip at you until later. So this guy's a must-have. Then we run 3 of the new Monzaemon X from BT15. This guy, of course, can evolve on top of Monzae for 0, but when Digivolving, if it has Monzaemon in its hand or in its sources, you can play something with Numemon or a level 3 Digimon card from your hand without paying the cost, so that's pretty cool. And then all turns, when you play a Digimon by an effect, or just whenever one is played, when one of your other Digimon is played, one of your opponents gets minus 2000 DP for each of your Digimon until the end of the turn. So counting this and this, you're already doing minus 4000, and in combination with this, you can potentially do even more because that minus DP for Monzae is also on when Digivolving. So you could Digivolve, do minus 3000, then do another minus 4000. So you're doing minus 7000 on something already, making it super weak. So pretty solid. You have to run at least 3 of these. Basically being an X antibody kind of deck, you have to run at least 3 of this one. Then for the last level 5, we run 2 Warrior Monzae. If I had one more, I would run another one because this one is just so good. It just like Monze, it can evolve on top of a Nume for 3 cost, but on play when Digivolving, by trashing a card with Numemon, you can de-Digivolve something. And then on play, by placing one card with Numemon in its name from your trash as this guy's source, it basically becomes a Congo where anything play cost 5 or less can't attack. So really cool because it helps stop rookie rushing decks and just in general just them from chipping you for damage. So I really love this Warrior Monze. And then same with this Monze, it gives security attack +1 to anything with Monze or Numemon in its name. Hence why I was able to do 2 checks with a new Platinum Numemon. So it's really crazy. That's all for level 5s. We only run about like 9 of them. Usually you only run about 8. We're only running 1 more than usual, but I honestly wish I could run 1 more of this because Waramonze is just so broken, just so powerful. The de-digivolving is always a strong effect, and the fact that it can just stop your opponent's plays for a turn if they decide to try to chip you is really crazy. Yeah, so for the level 6s, we only run 2. We run Venus. Venus, self-explanatory, -1 security for the board, and it makes it so they can't activate their when attacking or when digivolving effects. They also can't attack her if they have an extra security check, so pretty cool. Mainly, she's just there to stun, and then afterwards, she's just there to, chip for damage. I just kind of swing with her usually, and then usually she dies, and then because of Numemon X, I just play a Platinum anyway off that, so it's pretty good. Then we run, of course, the boy himself, 3 Platinum Numemons from BT15. This guy's, it's kind of weird because in retrospect, I didn't realize that he was 9,000 DP for the longest time, but it's honestly pretty cool. Like, it's hilarious how he works. Like, on play, you can just trash a card with Numemon, and then you just gain 2 memories. So if your opponent deletes this when they're already at 0, you basically get to play this out and then gain 2 memory. And then on deletion, you could just play a level 5 or lower with Numemon or Monze. So this one on deletion procs this or this. So it's just really solid just how powerful this guy is. Like, I never honestly realized how good he was until we got this new support. But I really just love having him out or in the trash so that I can just keep summoning him back over and over thanks to Numemon X. The last Digimon we run is a level 7. 1 Shine Gray Ruin Mode. This guy, in conjunction with all your other DP reduction through these guys, is insane because you can basically minus them up to like 12 to 13,000 if you do it correctly. So it's just insane how much you can do. And then, of course, when this guy dies, if you have the Numemon X underneath, not only do you get the recovery +1, but you also get another minus DP, and you get to summon a Numemon. That's pretty good, honestly. That's really broken. So you got to run at least 1 copy. You can run 2. I just need to find my second copy. I don't know where my other copy is, but I just run it in here at this point, so it's pretty solid. Yeah, but that's basically all of the Digimon in the deck. The rest of the deck is basically just like 2 option cards and like Tamers. So it's not really like it's mostly Digimon focused, as you can see with how many we have. But it's just really solid because a lot of like we have the Numemon for searching. We also have like the other cards for evolution stuff. But aside from that, we usually are able to draw our cards pretty fast, especially thanks to Uko giving us another egg to hatch and evolve on top of. So you honestly don't really need that many like training cards or anything like that. Most of the builds I remember seeing in the OCG barely ran those because we already have enough like search power, so it's not actually that an issue. Anyway, for the options, we are running 1 Cooties Kick. I finally get to use my yeah, I finally get to use this Cooties Kick card. I've had a foil version of this card for the longest time, but I just could never use it. But it's really cool. So if you have a Black Tamer, it becomes a 1 cost. And then until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon, Nume, Suka, Nani, or Edamona's name can't be blocked and gains on deletion gain 3 memory. So in conjunction with like all of this, you can potentially gain back hella memory. So yeah, this card basically makes it really like, I don't know, it's really crazy because if you can do it properly with this card, you can basically gain back 3 memory, then play another Numemon, set up, and then evolve again, and just keep repeating that process. You could even play back this and then activate a Satsuki and give it Rush too. So you're getting jamming, reboot, and all that crazy stuff, and then you just evolve into Numemon X, and then it dies, and then you just play it back again and do it again. It's really crazy. I only run 1 copy of this, mainly because there's no more room in the deck, but if I could, I'd probably run 1 more because the deck just has so many, like, Numemons that you can basically run like more than one copy, so pretty cool. Then the other option card we run is just 1X Antibody Protoform, mainly because this helps basically set up for Monzaemon or evolving into this specifically. That's about it, honestly, because these are the only two X that we usually evolve into. But this is just really cool because along with that, as you most people haven't really used this card as much yet, but this card is really cool. It basically whenever your Digimon dies, you can just like grab back. Basically, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, other than by your effect, um, you can return one Digimon card from this guy's source to your hand and then place this on top of your security. So potentially you can like make it so they have to check this and add it back into your hand, and then you set up and go into another Nume and then maybe go into Cootie's kit and then swing for game. So pretty cool because I've been able to like with this card, I've been able to get past Digipolice because they're like, oh, I have like 6 blockers, and I go, okay, one cost, can't block it, swing Numemon for game. So this card is very important to basically take out like certain decks, especially Digipolice, that like to block a lot. So yeah, we have to run at least one of each. Then for Tamers, obviously we are running 3 Satskis because this being a Numemon and Monzaemon deck, you can Mind Link with them and give them jamming and reboot, which is really cool, and that extra memory is really solid. So yep. Then we have 2 of the new Yulin. Yulin's really cool because it can Mind Link with anything with X antibody. So as long as you have either, I'm not sure if this has not, this one does not have X, but if you have a Numemon or a Monzaemon X, you can Mind Link and give it Alliance and reboot. So pretty solid. And of course, she sets her memory. So she does what TK was doing for you, but also giving you access to Alliance and Reboot. So I actually opted for her, and she's actually not bad. She actually made this deck way better than it should have been. And then the last Tamer we run, of course, being the fact that we run Uko, we had to run 2 Louis. On play, you could just push this up, gain a memory from both these, so it basically becomes a 1 cost thing, so it's pretty solid. And yeah, that's basically the deck. As you can see, this deck is kind of weird at the moment because we still don't have the other level 6 that we need to basically make this deck tier 1, essentially. We're also lacking the second Uko. But once we get those pieces, this deck is just gonna basically become like tier 1. It's insane how powerful this deck is. Like, nobody knew that this deck would be good, but surprisingly, even in BT15, this deck is already really powerful, and you can get away with like victories, especially if your opponent's not expecting it. You can kind of just show up and be like, oh, I have Numemon. They're like, oh, it's just a Numemon deck. And then suddenly you just DP minus, you do minus security, you do you can just keep summoning rookies and rookie rushing them and then playing back Numas like constantly and passing turn, especially with like Suka or Monze. So it's just really crazy how it works. Aside from that, yeah, you know, as usual, I say that this is a template. This is my version of the deck. So you can take this as kind of like a skeleton and just kind of make your own version, add in like like different cards. Like I know Purge Shine is pretty good, especially after the DP minus. You can add in more Chumons. You can try out Nanimons and other stuff. It's just really crazy how versatile this deck could be because it's both yellow and black. So you have access to a lot of really cool stuff that you can use. Especially yellow, because yellow has a lot of DP minus option cards, a lot of really good cards. You can even run like reinforce in this if you really wanted to. So this deck has a lot of ways to go. So pretty sweet. Aside from that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.